Hi there, we're doing operations with rational numbers, topic 5-5. I'm going to try to have a goal of keeping this about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker than normal. I'm probably having you try a couple on your own. So we are now taking everything we've learned about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing rational numbers and combining them all together for orders of operations. So we have two key concepts for today, one with evaluating expressions, talking about the distributive property, and we also have order of operations, which is PEMDAS, which you guys have seen before. So the distributive property, I believe you've also seen, means that for any numbers A, B, and C, if you have A and then group together B and C, you're going to multiply those, and you have AB plus AC. Same thing applies that if you have a subtraction sign or a negative sign in front of that C, you will also get AB minus AC. We have our order of operations that state evaluate expressions inside grouping symbols. And our grouping symbols can be absolute value signs, parentheses, brackets, or even the division bar. The division bar is also considered a grouping symbol. So you have to make sure you evaluate the expressions inside the grouping symbols first, then evaluate the exponents. Multiply and divide from left to right, meaning if division comes first, you do the division before the multiplication, and add and subtract from left to right. So example number 1 is asking us to solve this problem 2 different ways. 1, using order of operations, and 2, using the distributive property. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite the problem for both of these. So if I solve this problem using order of operations, I need to first simplify it's in the grouping symbols. So I have 2 sets of parentheses here. One, I have 3 plus 2, and the other set of grouping symbols is just around the -4. So it doesn't really mean that I need to simplify anything inside there. So I will have -5. I'm going to leave the parentheses because it shows multiplication. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus -4. Then I'm going to reassess and see that I have multiplication and addition. So I will multiply first. A negative times a positive will give me a -25. I like to underline the step that I'm doing. And then I will bring down the plus -4 to give me a negative plus a negative. The answer will stay negative, and I get -29. So the goal is that I should be getting -29 when I use the distributive property as well. I like to use the distributive property. I like to put these little arrows or lines to remind myself that what is ever inside the parentheses, I need to distribute that -5 to each of those terms. There's 2 terms in the parentheses. So -5 times 3 will give me -15. -5 times 2, and this is where things might be a little bit different. You can look at this 2 ways. You can say a -5 times a +2 gives me a -10, or you could say -5 times a +2 this way will give me -10. So I would bring the addition sign down and say -5 times 2 will give me -10. Either way is correct. So now again, I only have addition, so I will work from left to right. -15 plus -10 will give me -25. And then I have -25 plus -4 to again give me -29. Number 2 is asking us to circle the expression that correctly shows, using the distributive property, to rewrite the expression -6 times -1/2 plus 1/3. Please go ahead and take a look at that one. I chose the last one because that one shows that I am multiplying both -6 to both the terms, so be careful here that you have to multiply the same number to both terms on the inside. Number 3, which is on the next page for you, says which expression is, or no, sorry, it's on the same page. Which expression is equivalent to -10 times 5/8 minus 6 2/10? This one again, go ahead and give this one a try. Be careful. You have the subtraction sign here that you need to bring down. And then when you have a -10 times a +6 2/10, you need to make sure that you have that negative sign coming down too. So here's the negative 10 is right here, and the positive 6 2/10 is coming here. So be very careful with your number of negative signs because you get two completely different expressions. Number 4 is asking us to use the formula F equals 9/5 C plus 32 to convert a temperature given in degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. And they like us to then complete the table here. So if I am given F equals 9/5 C plus 32, they are telling me that degrees Celsius is negative 10, so I will substitute negative 10 in place of C. It's 9/5 times C, so I will do 9/5 times negative 10, all divided by 1, plus the 32. Before I move on, I'm going to cross cancel. So I'm going to cross cancel with the negative 10 and the 5. Please be very careful here that this is negative 10 divided by 5, which will give you a negative 2. If you leave that negative sign off, you will get the wrong answer. And then 5 divided by 5 will give me 1. So I'm left with 9 times negative 2, which is negative 18, plus 32. My signs are different, or I have good guys and bad guys, so I need to find the difference between these two and take the sign of the number with a larger absolute value to give me positive 14. Go on and try the second step here. All right, so I started again by writing the formula, this time substituting in negative 40. Oh, and surprise, I get the same answer as negative 40 for my Fahrenheit. I know at first it seems like it's wrong, but it is actually correct. Thinking again of a number line going this way, because thermometers normally go that way, if I'm at negative 72 and I'm adding 32, that would not be enough to get me to 0, so I knew that my answer still needed to be negative. Number 5, this time they are giving us the same formula, but a little different because we're converting now between Fahrenheit to Celsius. So they are giving us the formula C equals 5/9 and then F minus 32. So it's a little bit different because it does involve the reciprocal of 9/5, and we could use the distributive property. So they're telling me they want me to convert 5 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm going to place the 5 in place of the F. So I have to simplify. In my mind, it looks much easier to simplify what's inside the parentheses first than to apply the distributive property. So this is going to become 5 plus negative 32, which will leave me with negative 27. And I'm going to write it as negative 27 first because I'm planning ahead and seeing the 5/9 that I'm multiplying by. So I will cross cancel between negative 27 and 9. Negative 27 divided by 9 will give me negative 3. 9 divided by 9 gives me 1. So 5 times negative 3 is going to give me negative 15, and it's degrees Celsius. Down here, we've already talked about this in topic 1, so this really isn't anything earth-shattering. It's just giving a good name to a complex fraction. And they're telling you a complex fraction is a fraction where your numerator A and your denominator B, where A and B or B are both fractions and B is not 0. Because remember, we learned that no, you cannot have a denominator of 0. You will get an undefined answer. So they're showing us that the negative 3/4 divided by 10 is a complex fraction. The main fraction bar on my notes is in red. Yours is just a slightly bigger line. The negative 3/4, that is not the main fraction bar. Again, we did talk about that in topic 1. This is a refresher on the next page of how to divide fractions, or excuse me, how to simplify complex fractions using the LCM. You can continue to use the LCM like we practiced, or now that we've talked about how to divide fractions by multiplying by the reciprocal, you can certainly rewrite your fractions that way as well. So I'll show you how to do both of these. So for number 6, they're saying that a lock is a chamber used to move a boat from one water level to another along a river. After a boat enters a lock, the water inside the lock drains out, lowering the boat to the new level. So if the water level drops 3 feet every 2.5 minutes, the rate is negative 3 feet divided by 2.5. So they would like us to simplify the complex fraction and then tell what your answer means for the problem in this situation. So first thing we notice is that we have a mixed number in our denominator, so we need to change that to an improper fraction. So this is going to become negative 3, and I'm just going to make it negative 3 first so that I've got a fraction in my numerator as well, and then 5 halves. Notice that my numerator is a negative, my denominator is positive, so I know my final answer should end up being negative. If I solve this problem by using the LCM of 1 and 2 is 2, so I will multiply by 2. I can cross-cancel the 2's in the denominator. I have negative 3 times 2 to give me negative 6, and I have 5 times 1 to give me 5, which equals negative 1 1/5 feet per minute. So tell what your answer means in terms of the problem situation. It means that the water is actually going to drop 1 1/5 feet every minute. Instead of our rates being 2 1/2 minutes, we now have a unit rate of 1 1/5 feet per minute. So the water is dropping. And I know that the water is dropping because of the negative sign. Okay, on the next page, we're going to solve this one by applying SIR. So you could rewrite this as negative 5/6 divided by 15 halves. Then rewrite that problem as a multiplication problem. So the first fraction stays the same. The division becomes multiplication. The 15/12 becomes 2/15. So I can apply my cross-canceling here. Again, be very careful. 15 divided by 5 is going to give me 3. Negative 5 divided by 5 gives me negative 1. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. 2 divided by 2 will give me 1. So I'm left with negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And 3 times 3 is 9 to give me negative 1/9. You could also, again, write it with the negative out in the way in the front as negative 1/9. Number 8 says that a fraction bar, again, is a grouping symbol as well as a division symbol. In the expression 2 plus 4, then all divided by 3, the fraction bar groups 2 plus 4 and indicates that you need to add 2 to 4 before you divide by 3. Okay? So what I'm trying to show you here is that 2 plus 4, then all divided by 3, if you were to rewrite this problem without your grouping symbol of the division bar, you must put parentheses around the 2 plus 4. If you do not, this is what you will do, and this is wrong. You would end up getting 2 plus 4 divided by 3, and by order of operations, you would have to do the division first, and that is wrong. You need to simplify the addition. All right? So we're going to look at this next one. And since I have 1/3 minus 1 in the denominator of my complex fraction, I need to do that first. So I will have 1/3 minus 1. I'm going to convert 1 to 3/3. So 1/3 minus 3/3, well, that becomes 1/3 plus negative 3/3, which will give me negative 2/3. So now, when I rewrite this, I will take the negative 5/6, all divided by the negative 2/3. I'm going to multiply by the LCM because I'm a natural at that now. My LCM is 6. If you wanted to again to divide by SIR, that's fine. And I get negative 5 and then negative 4. So now I have a negative divided by a negative, which gives me a positive, and it'll be 1 and 1/4. Just squeaked in under 15 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll do a lot of practice with this tomorrow. I will see you then. Bye-bye.